Lotus Cup circuit racing. Hello there everybody, and welcome to OpenFed Gaming, and welcome back to those who've been here before. We're driving a Lotus Elise S Cup R. We're driving it in a rookie track day event called the Lotus Cup. We're driving it at the Brands Hatch on the GP circuit, England. We're doing 4 laps. We're driving during the day. It says clear skies, but I do see a few clouds up there. And we started 11th of 22. We dropped a few places, but that's okay. We got 4 laps, so it's going to take a little while, and these laps are not short. They're of decent length. So we can kind of stake out during the first lap, see how wild and crazy these guys are going to drive, because they get pretty chaotic here in Grid Legends at times. And we can kind of get an idea of what the track is like. Now, we've driven the Brands Hatch GP circuit track quite a few times, not just in Grid Legends, but in other games too. It's a pretty popular track. So you get quite used to it after a while, and it really flows nicely around these corners where you can cut to the inside, let your car drift to the outside, cut back in. You can do that on all these corners here except for one, right over here where this guy is facing the wrong direction. You got to slow down a little bit around that corner, or you're not going to make it. You're going to shoot off the end. I know this because I've done it more than once. You see, the OpenFed doesn't always take his own advice. Although I'm getting better, and I'm starting to slow down more around corners. Another thing that I've come to accept and start to try in my strategy as we're finishing our first lap is I'm starting to spread my attack throughout the race. In other words, I don't try to win the race in the first lap, which was what I used to do when I first started playing these games. It just doesn't work that way. So if you sit back and you have a little bit of patience, catch up to the group in front of you and start picking them off one at a time, you'll be much more successful. And when you don't have any cars close by or right in front of you, use the full width of the track so you don't have to slow down or brake. Just lift your foot off the throttle and put it back down again. That is the best way I can think of how to win some of these races. Now, the other thing, of course, that is a variable that you have absolutely no control over is the other car drivers. Now, sometimes these guys will flip out, spin out, or what have you, and sometimes they take you out in the process. So that's the kind of thing that you have to be aware of, and you have to keep an eye out for, because it will happen. It's not a matter of will it or will it not, it's a matter of when and where. So be ready at all times for that. That is another thing that I sometimes forget. And the last thing that I sometimes have trouble remembering is who is behind you. I don't keep a close enough eye on my rearview mirror sometimes when I'm passing cars. So you got to keep an eye on that too. As we're ripping down this straight stretch and coming up to this corner here, we are already heading down to the end of the second lap, and we're halfway through the race. So even though the laps are of decent length, the speed that we're going, and especially after somebody blew a motor or something, and especially after you've done a few laps, the cars have thinned out a little bit and you have a little bit more room on the track, so you can go a little faster. And as you go faster, of course, the laps go by a lot quicker. So the beginning of the race is always a little slow, but it speeds up as you go along. Now we're in second place, and we've only got one guy left to pass. So we have about a lap and a half left. So there's no point in getting chaotic, racing up behind him, getting ahead of him, because there's no need for it. And this is something that I always used to do. Just race as hard as you can and get by him. And by doing that, you take chances. And when you take chances, there's going to be problems. You're going to run off the road, you're going to overshoot the corners, you're going to run into other cars, and it takes away a lot of the fun. I found that I'm enjoying playing these games and running these races a lot more now that I have a little bit of a strategy. You don't want to get too technical. I don't, anyhow. You know, a lot of people do, and they like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely fantastic if that's the way you want to play it. Because you can play it any which way you want. But as long as the bottom line is that you're having fun, whether you're serious or not, it makes no difference. Fun is the end result. If we don't have fun, why would we do it? Just like this guy in front of me. I was going to pass him, but he didn't think that was a lot of fun, so he cut out in front of me. But that's okay, because we're going to come up against by the grandstand here, and we have a little straight section, so we're just going to say goodbye to him and take him and get in front. But another thing I like to mention every once in a while is you got to remember, you passed the lead car, and now you are the lead car, which means that somebody could pass you. Because just because you got the lead doesn't mean that you're going to get to keep it. So once you get in the lead, you want to push it a little bit, but not too hard. You want to keep it on your counter, and you can see that I'm about 1.5 seconds ahead of the next guy behind me. Now, if I spin out or run off the road, that 1.5 seconds is gone. He'll be shooting by me, plus maybe a couple more, and I will not catch up again. So the most important thing, once you're in the lead, is to make sure that the race is clean. Don't run into things, don't run off the track, slow down around the corners, just keep it a clean, nice clean race, and that way you can stay in front. You don't become your own worst enemy by running yourself off the track and letting other guys pass. That is the best way to do it, I believe, because as you can see, we're now 2.5 seconds up on the next car. We're driving fairly clean, we're staying in the middle of the track, and we're using the full width through the corners. And by doing that, we're ending up here on the last little straight stretch. Oh, there looks like there's a big cloud of smoke up there. Must be some other guy that blew the engine and is still on the track. Wow, what a good race this was. I really enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back here again real soon at OpenFed Gaming. You've been racing with the OpenFed.